We have had hundreds of chefs in the Delmarva Life kitchen, but only one has actually changed the way that we do things in the kitchen during the holidays.
That's right. It was November when Chef Jill Siena showed us how to brine a turkey. And actually, both you and Lisa brined your Thanksgiving and Christmas turkeys.
Yes, we did.
Woo woo! So today, she's gonna blow our minds with chocolate. I just know it, right?
I'm gonna try my best.
That's what you do.
I'm gonna try my best.
Done.
So talking chocolate, why is this, melt it and go, right?
You would think so. And today is a huge chocolate holiday across the country and around the world. So I thought it would be appropriate to talk about chocolate today. It's not as simple as you think. Chocolate is a very temperamental thing. And if you've ever tried to melt chocolate and run into some issues, you know what I'm talking about. So chocolate is actually a complicated structure of molecules, of sugars and fats that are lined up perfectly when you buy a chocolate bar that looks like this.
Yeah.
For example, nice pretty chocolate bar.
Right.
This has been scientifically engineered to stay solid at room temperature, which it may not want to do normally, and to give you a snap, right? That's what you're looking for in a chocolate bar. The problem is when you start introducing heat to this equation, those molecules shift around.
Okay.
And it's very easy to throw them out of balance. When you throw them out of balance, you run into a problem called scorching or seizing, which is what we have here, that I've demonstrated for you to show you what could happen if you mess this up.
Talk to us. You got two things to mention here.
Two things to mention here.
Explain what happened here.
Number one, this is a mess. So I don't know if you can see what's going on here. It's not hot anymore, thank goodness. But see how it's all clumped up and gross in there?
And it smells a little bit.
It's terrible.
So the chocolate is ruined.
So what happens is if you heat up the sugars too fast, if you start heating it up too quickly, if you don't go slow, take your time, you'll actually cause the chocolate to seize, which means that the sugar starts to caramelize and then it starts to clump up on you.
Okay, so the second thing you wanted to mention here, and we'll
is
do
that
this
the
real quick
glass
so I can move
broke,
it.
because this is a public service announcement as well, that Pyrex, even though it is heat sensitive or heat safe, glass can still explode if it gets too hot. So I took this out of the microwave a couple of minutes ago, right? And it went blam on the counter.
Because the counter was
and
cold.
a piece went flying off.
And there we go.
Correct. So
All right,
please
so
be careful when you're heating chocolate or
Yeah.
anything in glass containers. So this is like a twofer. You guys got a twofer of demonstrating what not to do,
What not to do.
with your chocolate.
Exactly.
Okay, now what do we do?
So what you do is whenever you're heating chocolate, it's really important to do it slowly and gradually. You can do it in a double boiler, which is a pot of simmering water, about 1 inch of it, with a bowl on top, typically glass or metal. Or you can do what I do, which is put it in the microwave in 20 to 25-second increments and stir between each one, even if it doesn't look like it needs it, because the chocolate's still warm even though it looks solid to you.
And that will help maintain the science of the chocolate.
Correct, because you don't want to throw it out of balance too fast.
Okay.
Take your time with it. And if you do it correctly, then you should have a nice smooth chocolate. So behind you in that microwave, I did it the last increment while we were standing here. And so now we should have some smooth melted chocolate, hopefully.
Smooth melted chocolate.
And hopefully no explosions.
I missed a piece of glass there. Please
Hopefully.
be careful.
Yeah, be careful because it was a mess here. So you can see now that I have a nice smooth
Oh, yes.
melted chocolate here, okay? So what I'm gonna ask you to do, Jimmy, for me, is put a spoon of each one into our mold. So I have some heart-shaped molds here.
Okay.
Your molds might be like the old school plastic kind that, you know, were sold for years and years, or they might be this new silicone kind. They both work fine.
Now, am I filling them up?
No, you're just gonna add a spoon to each one.
Oh, okay.
And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your shoulders into it.
Get my
Drive
shoulders
Daisy a
into
little
it.
bit.
Oh,
And you're
Valentine's
gonna
Day
coat
dance.
You're gonna coat around the edge with the chocolate. So you wanna tip it so that the chocolate comes around the edge to the top of
So
the
kind
mold.
of do a shell kind of thing.
Correct, you're making the bottom shell.
Jimmy, did you stretch
Gotcha.
before you get your shoulders in
I
action
did not.
here?
I did not. We're risking damage here, but Jill has never failed us before.
No,
keep
I'm
doing
here
this. You go
for you.
ahead.
So you are doing that for me, and Katie and I are going to talk about the filling, because a solid piece of chocolate is not a truffle, right? A truffle has a softer, kind of melty center to it. So it's very easy to make truffle filling. It's 2 ingredients.
Oh, well, there you go. What is it?
It's a cup of heavy cream. Use real heavy cream, the good stuff. And 1 bag of good quality chocolate. And this happens to be Godiva. You don't get much better than this. Okay? So get yourself a good
Godiva
quality.
for it.
Can be Calavo, can be Ghirardelli, can be whatever kind of chocolate you like, but make sure it's decent quality because you're going to be eating it the way it is.
Absolutely. So how do we do this?
What you're going to do is warm the cream up until it steams. Don't let it boil.
Okay.
Pour it over a bowl of your chocolate chips and stir it till it melts.
Really?
And then put it in the fridge for about an hour.
Interesting.
And after about an hour, you're going to have this, if you want to show them the consistency, because it's very different than that. It's not the same as the melted
this is
chocolate.
like a little bit thicker. Oh, yeah, it doesn't kind of...
It doesn't
have that.
flow off the spoon. It definitely has more of a And what happens is when this touches your tongue, it will melt because of that cream. Really good. So Jimmy's doing that for me.
Oh, wow, look at that.
He's getting into the action.
Get into it, that Valentine's Day spirit.
I don't think my Miss Daisy's driving too well. I may have waited too long for it to cool.
That's okay. It does happen. You have to work quickly. What we're going to do is once we have the shells complete, we're going to put a little bit of truffle filling into each one and put a little bit of chocolate on top and smooth it off so that it's sealed.
Okay. I'm going to keep driving Miss Daisy, and we're going to take a real quick break. And
I'm going to follow your lead.
Be right back. We are back in the Delmarva Life kitchen with Chef Jill Siena of Dover. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for fixing my poor chocolate spreading skills there.
You look great.
So what happens now?
So this was the base layer that Jimmy did for us, putting the chocolate in there. So we talked about the ganache earlier. And so Katie's going to put a little bit of ganache into each of those shells.
Okay.
Like how much were we thinking?
Like a little bit, because you don't want to fill it to the top.
Okay. So
because we actually need to put another layer of chocolate on top of that. And once you have a little extra chocolate on top, you're going to scrape off with a scraper the backside of a knife to give you a nice flat surface.
Okay.
And then they go in the fridge for about 2 hours to set.
How am I doing here, Jill?
You're doing great. That's perfect.
Oh, okay, perfect.
That's perfect.
I am nailing it.
So what we're doing here, love that, is you're going to have a nice crispy outer layer of chocolate with a nice creamy center of ganache.
Do you serve them cold or?
You can actually take them out of the fridge once they set, and they will be stable at room temperature because we didn't throw off the temper of the chocolate.
Because we kept the science of the chocolate.
We nailed it.
Correct. So they will be solid at room temperature, and I'll show you that in just a minute.
You know, I was gonna say the pinnacle of whenever you are here with us is when we get to sample what you showed us how to do.
Yeah. Well, I might have a tray of stuff over there with flowers on it that I may have done ahead of time.
Okay.
The magic of television.
I'm sure that somehow we can make that happen.
I don't know, Jimmy's on my side, so.
So I'm going to slide this out because, yes, you would put more chocolate on top and smooth it out and put it in the fridge, and then you would get that.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
So, Katie, you want to move that on over here?
Now, speaking of this here, you've got some red ones in here, you've got some white ones in here, very Valentine's Day themed.
I'm trying. So the white ones are white chocolate, which you do the exact same thing with. Okay. Okay, just buy decent quality white chocolate, like a bar, not the chips.
Right.
Bar, not the chips.
Okay, very different because that temper is what you're looking for where it snaps.
Is white chocolate, is it kind of the same exact thing, or is white chocolate more difficult than?
It can be more difficult because there's a higher fat concentration. So you have to be really careful when you're melting any type of chocolate.
So where'd the red come from?
What that is chocolate doesn't like water. Okay. So you need to make sure you use oil-based food colorings, which you can buy at your craft store. So you can color it red or green or blue or yellow or whatever you want. You can color your white chocolate.
I had no clue.
But you have to use an oil-based one. So if you're not sure, just ask the craft store people and they'll point you in the right direction.
And it's not going to taste any different?
No, it'll still taste like white chocolate.
I'm going to, please forgive me. I'm going to take this.
Whatever one you like. And there's a couple tuxedo strawberries on there for good measure.
I want to go for this red one.
Tuxedo strawberries. I absolutely love that.
So I did a little swirl on that one for you. A little marbling with the white, with the red and dark chocolate for you.
That is awesome.
Bottoms up here.
They should be soft in the middle if I did them right.
Jill Siena, let me tell you something. This is absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
It's soft in the middle.
At the same time.
So these are Valentine's Day, right? But you could do this exact same thing with an egg-shaped mold, Bam Easter eggs, right? You could do this any time of year. You can make little Santas. You can make whatever you want. So this is just for
St. Patrick's Day, 4-leaf clovers.
Whatever. If you have a mold, you can do anything.
Wow. If you can mold it, you can do it. If
the more you know.
Mold it, they will come.
Just wanted to show off the tuxedo strawberry here too. You are an absolute artist.
And these are great. You just dip them all in white and then kind of halfway each side in dark, and then put 2 little buttons on them. Tuxedo strawberries.
That is fantastic.
And just buy the biggest boys you can find. Buy the biggest strawberries you can find at the store.
That's just it.
Well, I got to eat it now because I picked it up.
Sure does.
It's all yours.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you for letting me come on and talk about
Happy
science.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
You made it a great day for
My
us.
pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we are not done with the chocolate. Howard is adding toffee to the mix in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Happy Valentine's Day. You did remember, didn't you? For those of you who forgot, there's no reason to run out the door in hopes of finding the perfect candy for your sweetheart. We've got a recipe for salted caramel toffee that's just a thing your sweetheart is gonna love. They won't even think you almost forgot. Watch how easy. We line a baking pan with parchment paper and cover it with broken pretzel pieces. We set that aside and bring some butter and brown sugar to a boil. While it's simmering, do not